Hey there folks, my name is Peter and today we're talking Snap-on tools. That's right folks, so for the first time in kind of a long time, I was back on the Snap-on truck just the other day and I picked up a few items that I'm pretty excited to tell you all about. Now this was an atypical trip because I had ordered something ahead of time and I really just went there to pick up this one specific item, but as usual there was a couple other things that caught my eye in the process. Now that item was actually the most expensive Snap-on tool that I've ever bought. It's like a single tool, right? Obviously like sockets are more expensive, but you get a lot of sockets. So we're gonna talk about that at the very end, and instead we're gonna go from small to big. And the first thing I wanna share with you all is the 10-foot Snap-on tape measure that I picked up in the Hi-Viz. Now, it's funny, of all the Snap-on stuff that I bought and unboxed on this channel, the tape measures are the thing that gets seemingly the most comments. For whatever reason, Snap-on tape measures are the most polarizing thing that Snap-on offers. Now that being said, I love these things. So the one I use the most, so far, obviously I haven't used this yet, but the one I use the most is a 16-footer. What I really like about it is that it has the magnet so it sticks on my workbench. I am not on a job site, so having a belt clip, it doesn't really matter to me. The other thing that I like is the auto locking feature. I'm of the opinion that I really don't want any tape measure that doesn't have auto locking anymore. I don't know if there's a reason why you shouldn't have it on certain applications, but to me it just makes a ton of sense. The third thing that I like about it is that the markings, these are on both sides. So this is the back, this is the front, so whether you're upside down or whatever, you can always see the markings. Of course, this is a nylon wrapped blade, and these features are the same across all of the tape measures, regardless of size. So this green one is the one I find myself grabbing for most often. Now I also have the 25-footer, so for situations that arise in which I need this amount of length, I have it, but generally the sweet spot is right here in the middle. Now this one also has the auto locking. It doesn't have the stuff underneath. I think that's probably okay, right, at 25 feet. I don't know how often you're gonna be at that length and needing to look upside down. This one also has a button down here, which is pretty cool. And that's contrary to this one and that one, which do not have such a button. And this one has the belt clip as opposed to the magnet. So why did I pick up this little 10-footer? Chances are this is gonna be in my truck with me the majority of the time. I bought my wife, she's got this little Milwaukee tape measure that we really like. It's, I think, a 6-footer. It actually just fits on a keychain. And you know, honestly, I think she uses it a fair bit, shopping for the home and whatnot. So having these little tape measures handy is generally useful. So this will probably stay in the truck. It's more like an EDC item for me. In fact, I actually recorded a whole video talking about like different EDC measuring devices. I never posted it, but I probably should. Anyway, this has the magnet on the back, like I said. This is auto locking, which my experience has been that with the smaller tape measures, most of them are not auto locking. So I thought that that was pretty cool. Again, the markings are on the front and the back. This is 10 foot in length. They also sell one of these in a 3-meter variety. So if you're looking for metric, you could do that. I have all of these in SAE because I kind of know fractions. Not really. And at this point, unless there's, you know, some major technical advancements in tape measures, I'm probably pretty well set, right? I've got my small, medium, and large, and they each have their own place in my shop. Moving on, let's actually talk about clothing. So obviously, you know, I get all these Snap-on hats every time I go on the truck, and I actually have a couple more today, but I have something I want to share with you all, and you could tell me what your interest is. But I've never bought any other type of clothing on the truck, right? Now that being said, I have been buying these Snap-on cotton socks for far longer than I've been buying Snap-on tools. I had a friend who told me one time, you know, I give Snap-on socks to people for Christmas every year. They're the best socks ever. They're super warm and durable and whatnot. And at that time, I wasn't buying Snap-on tools. I didn't have a truck that I could go to. So I was just buying these on eBay. And I think on eBay, they're cheaper. I think I'm getting, I don't know, 3 pairs for 50 bucks, something in that range, which of course is still expensive. But you know, when you get into premium socks, pricing is interesting. Nonetheless, I've been buying these forever. I'm wearing a pair right now. They are my favorite socks, and in the winter, you will find me wearing these every single day. Now in the truck, he had these cotton ones, but he also had these merino wool socks. Now, on a recent video in which I talk about my wife's EDC kit in her vehicle, I shared that I have an extra pair of these Snap-on socks in there, and they're really just in case of an emergency, right? Now, it was funny because at a recent Buffalo Bills game, I was wearing these socks, but my boots were so tight that my feet were sweating a little bit. That was compounded by the fact that it was 8 degrees during our tailgate and about the same within the game. And at one point, I mean, it felt like my feet were becoming icicles, right? I was sweating, but it was freezing. Luckily, I had an extra pair of these, so I actually swapped pairs in the parking lot before I went into the game so that I would have a fresh, dry pair. But coincidentally, somebody left a comment on the video about my wife's EDC kit saying, you should consider wool because cotton, when it's wet, can kill. And I don't know if that's exactly what he meant, you know, in terms of like my situation, but certainly I was not having a lot of fun wearing these cotton socks where my feet were sweating, but it was also 8 degrees outside. So now I've got a nice pair of these wool jobbers. Now I think that a single pair of these is about 20 bucks. What do you say, right? They're socks, they're branded Snap-on, they're made out of merino wool, and I'm excited to give them a try. I think that in certain situations, like, you know, the Bills game, or if I have to use the snowblower here today, we're gonna get 10 inches, so this is probably the right sock for the job to clean up the snow. But what are your thoughts, right? I wanna hear from the folks that actually, you know, work outside and experience the elements. What is the best work sock? Fill me in, I'm eager to learn, but for now, while I have many pairs of these cotton ones, this is my only pair of the wool socks. I got size large, you know, I don't know what else there is to say, right? Ultra soft, natural heating and cooling, blah, blah, blah. They're socks, but if they're anything like the cotton ones, they're gonna be pretty awesome. Now, it wouldn't be a Snap-on unboxing if I didn't buy a Snap-on light. I just can't help myself when I go on the truck. They come out with a new light seemingly every single week. Now, luckily, I have been really happy so far with the lights that I've purchased, right? The big one behind me there, you can maybe see it down there. I was using that the other day. It magnetized to the frame, like the roll cage of the Kawasaki Mule, because I was doing some work on the battery. So that was nice. The neck light, the Snap-on neck light, I wear that almost every time I'm in the garage. I find myself needing it for something. The other day I was swapping out this like, it's like a plastic plate on your truck bed, right? To basically cover the step stool, and I don't really know how to explain it, but it had broken off and I needed a new one, and on that part of the garage, it's much darker than it is on this side, right? I have more lighting over here so I can do videos, and this is obviously where I do projects, but over there it's hard to see, so you put the neck light on and easy peasy. So I have a lot of their lights. I'm generally very happy with all the lights that I've purchased. And then I saw this one, and I'll be honest, it's not that this light struck me as like, oh my God, this is a fantastic light, I'm gonna use it all the time. But I have been yearning for building a Snap-on EDC kit. And I've mentioned this in many videos, but the flashlight was one of the 2 items that I had remaining before I could do that. So this light has 2 modes. You've got a single power switch, that's low, that's high, and it also has a laser pointer. So I don't want to ruin our video there, but it has a laser pointer. I don't know the degree to which I'm going to use the laser pointer other than for, I don't know, annoying people or things, but cool nonetheless. It does have the pocket clip. It's USB-C rechargeable. 350 lumens, and the website says 3.5 hours of runtime. I don't know if that's at the high mode or the low mode. I'm going to assume it's the low mode. So it's not the brightest light in the world, but what I was thinking to myself is, you know, I carry the alpaca flight sling, like my vertical sling bag that I have, and I think that this could fit in there pretty nicely. Today I have the Olight Baton in there, which has also been a really nice light. The thing that I don't like about the Olight Baton is that it has a proprietary charging mechanism, right? So instead of using USB-C or something that everybody already has, you have this like special puck that goes on the bottom of the light, which means if you're without that special charging puck and that light dies, you're in trouble. Whereas, you know, my phone has USB-C, the iPads, everything has USB-C now. And so this is maybe a little bit nicer. It's still a little bit big, but we're getting there. Now, in terms of the Snap-on EDC kit that I yearn to build over time, like I said, there's 2 things that are missing, right? So for me, when I say an EDC kit, I'm saying 1, you have to have a pry bar. Obviously, we've got the Snap-on pry bar. I've got a couple of these. This is the one with the bent nose there at the end, but they also have a flat one, which I also have. So you have to have a pry bar. This is a little thin, but I found that it works just fine. You have to have a knife. Now, Snap-on doesn't make their own knives, but this is at least a CRKT rebranded Snap-on knife, which is pretty cool. So we've got the knife, we've got the pry bar. You need a pliers. So I have this set that I had purchased for the express intent of carrying these things around. Now, there's 3 different pliers in here, right? You've got your sort of traditional slip joints, if you wanted to carry these with you on a daily basis. Now, I believe they make these in both a dipped and non-dipped, so you can get whatever you're most interested in, but they have that version. They've got these, which are like the shrunken down, sort of do-it-all, needle nose, Talon grip, slip joint, whatever. And then finally in this kit, this is just a regular old bolt turner, right? It's got the graduations there, so you can actually fit a nut in there. This is probably a little bit more specialized than EDC, but you know, if you wanted to, you could. And of course, you can carry multiples of these, but that's what I have for now. So you've got the plier, I've got the knife, I've got the pry bar, I've got the light. The only thing I'm still missing is a screwdriver. Now I ordered, Snap-on makes, it kind of looks a lot like this with this similar handle, and then it's just got a single reversible bit here at the end. They make it in, I think, red, orange, and green. I have ordered all 3 of them from my dealer, and none of them have ever shown up. So someday, when that screwdriver does show up, not only will I actually test carrying all this stuff as my EDC kit for some time, but I'll also make a video about it. So be sure to subscribe so you don't miss it. All right, and then the last thing we're gonna talk about, it's actually 2 items, but I can't share one without kind of telling you the other. So we're gonna dismiss with the dispense and talk about the most expensive Snap-on tool I've ever bought. And that would be this 1/4 inch TechAngle torque wrench. Now I haven't even unboxed it yet, so let's grab our Snap-on CRKT knife and take it out of its packaging. So my dealer has had this on the truck before, but never in the green foam. And even if he did have it in the green foam, I was always waffling back and forth like, man, do I really need to spend all this money on a torque wrench? Again, I'm not a professional. I don't rebuild engines. I don't do any of this stuff. I'm not gonna use this every single day, I can guarantee it. That being said, when I was doing my maintenance this fall on the boat to get it ready to winterize, and I'm removing the spark plugs and the oil and all this stuff, you know, everything has a torque spec. And currently, the only torque wrench that I have is this beefy old boy from Tecton, right? So this is a 1/2 inch torque wrench. I've said this before, but I mean, I bought this before I even knew what a torque wrench was, right? I just knew that people use them and I wanted one, so I bought this one from Tecton on Amazon, and I don't know, 50, 60, 70 bucks. Something in that range. Now, this has proven useful because every single spring when I change the blades on my lawnmower, I torque them down with this. The propeller on the boat, that has a torque spec. I use this. And if you've been watching the videos for any period of time, you know that the reason I bought this Snap-on 1/2 inch socket set was specifically for this purpose, right? It's that I don't use this stuff every day. When I do, I want it to be high quality and I want it to be made in the USA. And these sockets are for this torque wrench. But fast forward, right? So I'm doing this work on the boat and I'm replacing the spark plugs. And the spark plugs have a torque spec. The problem is I don't have, I guess, a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, and I didn't have either a 1/4 inch or a 3/8 torque wrench. So I torqued them down with my hand as best as I could, and I just sort of decided, you know what? So I'm heavily invested in the 1/4 inch socket game. This is my you know, deep, semi-deep, and shallow collection from Snap-on. These are the metric sockets. I don't have them in SAE, but I'm sure someday I will. And I don't really have anything Snap-on in 3/8 because I've always said, you know, I've got most of everything I'm going to do is with those 1/4 inch sockets. I have the 1/2 inch ones because sometimes you run into bigger stuff, but I don't really want to buy, you know, 3/8 just so that I have it because I don't know the degree to which I really need it. All this to say, what I decided was I'm going to buy a 1/4 inch torque wrench to complement my 1/2 inch torque wrench, but then I'm going to buy a 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter for this torque wrench. So for example, I've got this Snap-on, now I didn't buy this on the Snap-on truck, this is actually my grandfather's. This is a universal 13/16 spark plug socket. And now, thanks to my trusty adapter, I could throw that on there and we can throw a torque wrench on there, right? Because again, for my applications, what am I doing? I'm mostly doing spark plugs, I'm doing drain plugs, simple stuff, right? We're not doing engine stuff or anything like that. So now I have access to that. And then on the boat, what I was actually using, and thank God I had these because accessing the spark plugs on the boat was a challenge. But this set is the Astro magnetic spark plug socket set. So these are fantastic. You get, I believe, 15 degrees of rotation here. Obviously it's got a built-in extension. And then the inside is magnetic. So when you actually retrieve the spark plug, it's not going to fall out on you. So I was using these, and specifically the 4th spark plug on the boat is just such a pain to get to. In fact, I not only had to use this, I also had to use another universal swivel from Snap-on just to get it out, but I'm thankful that I have the right tool for the job. But in any case, right, now I've got this, right? So I can do all my torquing, and I'm pretty happy. One more thing before I get you out of here is I did pick up 2 more Snap-on hats on the truck this time. I'm actually pretty excited about this one. I think that's pretty sharp, and then I've got this flannel one. Something that I'm thinking is that, you know, maybe I'll do like a live stream where I just sort of talk about Snap-on tools that I've collected over time and answer questions that people may have in terms of, hey, what do you use the most? Or most likely they'll just make fun of me, but nonetheless, I think a live stream would be interesting. And then perhaps what we could do is that if you participate in the live stream, then maybe you're entered into a giveaway where we can give away some of these hats, or, you know, I've got like some Snap-on koozies and different things that I've picked up while I'm on the truck that, you know, I can only wear so many hats, so I don't need 100 of them. But maybe you all would appreciate them. So let me know in the comments what you think about that idea. Be sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the very next video.